You're looking very sartorial there, Frank.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm my microphone just broke. Sorry guys.
Oh goodness.
It's all right. It's all right. We'll just see if I can. Okay, that might work. One of the legs broke. Okay, hi everybody. I'm Candid Frank. He's Aaron William Freeland, and well, this is another one of those Candid Frank live things we do with the about the Leafs. And today there's a big game happening, Aaron, and I guess with everything that's going on, Ekman Larson has to try to smooth or calm the waters in Maple Leafville, has come out with a statement. You want to share it with us?
Sure. You are certainly correct in that there is a monumental game tonight. I'm very much looking forward to Nashville, Detroit at 7:00. So we'll have to see how that goes. But OEL basically is telling everyone, step back, take a bit of a deep breath. Sure, we're in last place now, but so is St. Louis in 2019, and look what happened there. And OEL was bought out in 2023 by the Vancouver Canucks, and with his NHL career seemingly in doubt, OEL signed that summer with the Florida Panthers. Less than a year later, he was parading around the ice at Amaranth Bank and Sunrise with the Stanley Cup above his head. He played all 24 playoff games as the Panthers won their first cup in a 7-game decision over the Oilers. Now, this doesn't automatically suggest that there is a Stanley Cup in the offings for the Maple Leafs, but it also doesn't mean that it's that much of a disaster. If you look at the standings, the Leafs are currently 5-6 points behind a playoff position. You still have a chance to make it. Like, there is only 7 points difference between the Toronto Maple Leafs at the bottom of their division and the Tampa Bay Lightning at the top of the division. Even for a wild card spot, the Leafs are only 3 wins out. So it's not the end of the world. Certainly, they've passed more than 25% of the season at this point, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're being out of the playoffs is a foregone conclusion. They've just made things a little bit harder on themselves. So he's counseling a little bit of patience, a little bit of belief in the coach.
It's not the end of the world; it's the trend of the world that matters.
Right. Exactly. Right? So as long as you start trending upwards, you'll be fine.
They have to play like a team that went into this season wondering if the changes made were good enough for the playoffs to have a better chance at making it further down the road in the playoffs. We always knew that this kind of team would have a harder time making it to the playoffs. We discussed this all along, that this team now is more interested, this organization anyway, the foot forward that they placed, is to suggest that this is a team that'll play better in the playoffs than they will in the regular season. And everybody has the same reaction to that kind of talk, and that is, are you good enough to make the playoffs? So there's a knife's edge there that you're trying to avoid getting sliced by. Matthew Nyes, of course, Matthews, and of course, Roy are on their way back onto the ice for the game against the Blue Jackets. We'll see if injuries relieved changes the way the Leafs play. Their number one player's back, and I think it'd be fair, Aaron, their number 3 player in Nyes, their third best forward, will now join their second best forward in Nylander on the ice tonight. That's 2/3 of their big boys are finally on the ice. So we'll see if they make an impact. And all eyes are pointed at Matthews. Aaron, it doesn't matter about injuries, doesn't matter about anything. The real question is, can Matthews put this team on his back? It's that simple. That's what this comes down to. The same way every other team that has a star player on their team, they rely on that star player. It's no different for the Maple Leafs.
No, for sure. And, the fact that Matthews has been out for over 2 weeks now with a lower body injury is certainly a concern. Now, Austin has 9 goals and 5 assists for 14 points over 17 games this season. Coincidentally, it's his 10th year in Toronto. My God, has it been 10 years? It's really been 10 years. That's almost impressive. I was a fresh, vibrant young 40 when they first drafted this kid, and now look at me. I'm just a mean and crusty 50. Matthew Nyes has
Happy birthday.
15th. That was in February. I'm long past it now. And Nicholas Roy is bringing up the year. Both he and Nyes haven't played since the 15th. Brandon Carlo did attend morning skate today, but it's the first time he's been on the ice since November 13th when he suffered a lower body injury against the LA Kings. And Chris Tanev hasn't played since November 1st, so he's been out for almost a month now. And Stolars has been sidelined for the past 2 weeks as well. So they're getting 3 of their players back, which, that certainly helps. But the fact that they've still got a major chunk of their defense, their supposed number 1 goalie, and a second defenseman now out is still a going concern. But going into today's game against the 25-point Columbus Blue Jackets, who are currently sitting just a few points in front of the Leafs in the standings, this is going to be an interesting matchup. I hesitate to say do or die or make or break, because those 3-word combinations tend to get thrown around an awful lot with reference to this team, but it certainly feels like it's one of those points where you're getting there. The runway is getting shorter.
I guess you could say do or die or fish or fry, which is tantamount to saying, are you going to be the windshield or are you going to be the bug? That's where the Leafs are at right now. They can't afford to be the bug anymore. They've got to be the windshield. They've got to win the battles. They've got to play the kind of game. They've got to show, quite frankly, just simply put, they got to be able to play the game the coach has laid out for them. If they can't play the way the coach wants them to play, we've been using these excuses of injuries, then the problem isn't the players anymore. Now it's the coach has to develop a system that his players can succeed at. Because, you know the definition of insanity, right?
Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results.
Expecting a different result, and the results have been very consistent for the Leafs this year. All right, let's talk about. Go ahead, finish your thought.
I was going to say this is certainly a spot where the rubber meets the road. The Maple Leafs have been absolutely horrendous on the road this season, and as it currently stands, tonight is game 1 of a 5-game road trip. So they're starting tonight in Columbus, Friday afternoon, coincidentally, against Washington. Then they've got a second part of the back-to-back with travel against Pittsburgh on the Saturday, closely followed by games on Tuesday and Thursday against Florida and Carolina before they're back home on December 6th against the Montreal Canadiens. So no time like the present to find out whether or not they can get some of their mojo back.
Anything less than 5 road wins would be a disappointment. Let's go on to PWHL and, of course, the Montreal Victoire. Their scoring woes are continuing.
Yeah, they can't seem to find the back of the net here. Corey Chevalier was asked about the number of goals her team scores, and she said, well, Montreal finished second in goals for last year, but first in goals against, and what she mainly looks at is goal differential. Now, in her defense, she was right. Montreal actually finished regular season with a goal differential of +10, the best in the PWHL. The average goals scored per team last season was 2.51 goals per game. Montreal's average was 2.57. However, the feeling that the team isn't scoring that many goals is still there because they lost 2-0 against the Boston Fleet on Sunday. So that definitely doesn't help. What also doesn't help is when Marie-Philippe Poulin finds herself in the box with her wife, both after having gotten minors for different physical infractions. MFP last game had 3 minor penalties and was on the verge of getting thrown out. That is another issue that the Montreal Victoire need to address, especially if they want to try to neaten things up heading into this next season.
Absolutely. Let's talk about the Ottawa Charge.
So the Ottawa Charge are taking on Teresa Vanisova. Old acquaintance will be renewed when Aronia Savalainen and the rest of the Charge host the Vancouver Golden Eyes. That's tonight. For those of you making your way down to the game, please make sure to bring your earplugs. It's kazoo night. The first 5,000 fans will get a complimentary kazoo from the Ottawa Charge. So I look for it to be a very noisy game. They're hoping that they'll be able to throw Vanisova off her game through the use of these noisemakers.
All right. I guess that would be fun. A long time ago, there was always this wonderful story that kept repeating itself at the Olympics. One of the most amazing stories coming out of the Olympics. And counterintuitive story would have been the 4-man Jamaican bobsled team.
Now, they have made history again, other than being the first Caribbean nation to participate. They won their first gold medal in the North American Cup with a combined time of 1:45.88. It was 53 seconds even for their first run and 52.88 in their second heat. So that Shane Petter of Spanish Town, along with Junior Harris, Andreas Dackers, and Taekwondo Tracy, delivered a record-breaking performance that will be remembered for years. They went down the fast ice track in a 2-run combined time of 1:45.88, outpacing Cyrus Gray, Cesar de Guzman, Kyle Stube, and Chris Ashley of Canada, who took silver in 1:46.18, while Jay Dearborn, Keaton Bruggeling, Shane Ort, and Kenny Mapindu earned bronze with a time of 1:46.37. This is because they have a start time of under 5 seconds, which is absolutely phenomenal and is one of the keys to making sure that you get a good getaway. Now I'm hoping to see what they can do with the upcoming Winter Games, because it looks like the stage is set for them to make even more history going forward. Flipping over to the Raptors, Ingram scored 37 points. It's a season high for Brandon Ingram. They beat the Cavaliers 110-99 for their 8th straight win. He got 15 of his season high 37 points in the third quarter. Toronto has now won 12 of their last 13 games. This is the second victory in this string against the Cavaliers for the Raptors. This is the first time they've swept the season series since the 2019-2020 season. Cleveland's Donovan Mitchell had 17 points, but only shot 6 of 20, going 3 of 12 from three-point range. The Raptors were without R.J. Barrett, who has a strained right knee. Test didn't reveal a serious injury, but Coach Darko Rajakovic says that he's confident he'll be back soon. So, Raptors are continuing to set the pace, push the pace, and do extremely well. Looking forward to seeing what they pull off in the next couple of games. Can you hear me, Frank?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, okay. Now I hear you. I assume you just did the Raptors one. So the next Formula One.
Yep. So for those of you who don't follow F1, it has been a rather interesting. Season so far. Not only because Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri with McLaren have been racing ahead, but they were actually double disqualified over the course of the past weekend in the Las Vegas Grand Prix. Lando Norris's car was found to be below the post-race 9mm limit. For those of you who don't necessarily follow F1, on the bottom of each car, there is a series of titanium blocks and a large piece of wood. This is what's known as the skid plate. If it is below 9mm at the end of the race, then you are disqualified. So Norris's car was 0.12 millimeters on the front right and 0.07 millimeters on the rear right, too short. And Piastri's was 0.26 millimeters and 0.1 millimeters under. This means that those drivers were disqualified, which means that the championship race is now a heck of a lot tighter. Basically, it feels like, at least to some conspiratorial fans, not myself, but some fans out there, that the FIA is trying to hand this to Max by giving them this absolutely ludicrous penalty for under 1/10 of a millimeter. But rules are rules, and the F1 is nothing if not hidebound technically. So I'm not surprised that this ruling came down.
Absolutely wonderful.
Well, for Max, yeah, definitely. Not for McLaren, Phil.
Okay, let's go to the Habs, the Canadians, and Finland. The connection there.
So last year, when the NHL paused to host a best-on-best tournament, two members of the Montreal Canadiens were asked to play for Team Finland. That would have been Patrick Laine and Joel Armia. Joel is no longer a member of the organization, having signed with the Los Angeles Kings over the offseason, while the former is still part of the team, but once again sidelined by an injury. Seems to be the story of Laine's career. According to the timeline provided by the Habs when he underwent core muscle surgery, Laine could be back either in January or February. Even if he were back in January, would it be realistic to try to play in a best-on-best tournament like the Olympics? Probably not. But there is some hope there for Team Finland, specifically in the form of rookie center Oliver Kapanen. This 22-year-old is currently playing a line with Ivan Demidov and Juraj Slafkovsky after playing with Alex Newhook for the other 17 games he played before his injury. He's put up 11 points, but he's also been an essential part of the Canadiens' penalty kill. Armia and Christian Dvorak's departure created a need for the Habs in that role, and Kapanen jumped on that opportunity. He's currently fourth in rookie points with 11 and a three-way tie when it comes to goals with 7. The noise going around here is that he very realistically could be ready to go for them. Now, the Finns are already going to be without one of their best two-way forwards because of Alexander Barkov's injury. Not that Kapanen can replace him, because no one can really, but there is a good shot for him to actually make the team now.
Absolutely. The Senators, they lose to the Kings, who end their losing streak on a goal from Clark.
Yeah, Brant Clark had a power play goal with 6:10 to play to lift the LA Kings to a 2-1 win over the Senators on Monday. His shot from just inside the blue line with 2 seconds left on the man advantage ticked in just under the bar here. Warren Fogle also scored for the Kings, and Joel Edmondson assisted on both of the team's goals, while Darcy Kemper made 27 saves. Fabian Zetterlund tied it 1-1 with 9:11 to play in the third. They went through the first two periods without a goal. Fogarty opened the scoring 5:31 into the third. Fabian Zetterlund tied it. And then Brant Clark scored with 6:10 after that. Levi Marilainen made 20 saves for Ottawa, who was coming off wins over Anaheim and San Jose in the first 2 games of a 7-game road trip. The Senators are going to be in Vegas tonight, and the Kings have a bit of a break and will be playing Anaheim on Friday.
Dallas's Ben scores his 400th goal on a tip-in as they crush the Oilers 8-3.
Yeah, it's feast or famine for these Edmonton Oilers, man. I am not 100% sure what is going on with this team. I mean, granted, neither Pickard nor Skinner have been decent in goal for them this season. But it's just, no, it's not. It would be nice if they could get some run support, with the guys they have up front. Even missing Mikko Rantanen, who got a 1-game suspension for his second match penalty in as many games, didn't change a thing. Ottinger made 22 saves for Dallas. Stuart Skinner only made 4 saves on 8 first-period shots before he was replaced at the start of the second by Calvin Pickard, who made 18 saves the rest of the way on 22 shots, which is a sight better than, a 500 goalie. Clattenburg got his first NHL goal in his second NHL game. Johnston picked up his second assist of the game on the Stars' 4th goal, giving him 100 career assists to go with 100 career goals, which he got on November 13th. But yeah, Jamie Benn is the second player in Dallas Stars franchise history to reach the 400 goal mark, joining Mike Modano, who had 557.
The Canucks' Kevin Lankinen to miss the road trip due to some personal reasons.
Yeah, now only a day after the Vancouver Canucks make a swap at goaltending, the team has had to make yet another one. He was reassigned to the Abbotsford. After he was assigned to the Abbotsford Canucks yesterday, Jura Patera has been recalled to the Canucks under emergency conditions and will join Nikita Tolopilo on Vancouver's road trip. They brought Patera up, sent Patera back down and brought up Tolopilo, who returned from an injury absence of nearly a month last Friday. Tolopilo has only played in 5 games this season for Abbotsford, putting up a .901 and a .335. He made his NHL debut last April, getting a win in his first ever NHL start. With Lankinen out now for an unforeseeable amount of time, similar to Joseph Wall's disappearance, The Canucks crease falls to Tolopilo and Patera now. It's likely that one or both goaltenders will see some playing time within the next couple of days as Canucks play against the Sharks and LA Kings back-to-back. Vancouver's first game of this 4-game road trip will be tonight, with the team taking on the Anaheim Ducks in the first of their California road trip. After their match against the Kings on Saturday, they'll travel to Denver to face the Colorado Avalanche before returning to Vancouver.
Absolutely wonderful. So Wall will be in goal for the Leafs. They play at 7 o'clock, which is in a half hour after we're done. We're going to have ourselves an interesting situation because they'll be playing a team that gives them fits, and they just can't seem. It seems when push comes to shove. We talked about, and I talked about then when they were fighting for a playoff spot, and this team was in the way. This team has a 4-point lead on the Maple Leafs because the Leafs lost that last game they played against each other. They would have been tied at 23 points, and the Leafs would be a lot closer to a playoff spot. Every time they lose a game now, they're losing a game to somebody who's in front of them. That unfortunately is the fact. They have to win no matter who they play. So 5 straight wins. I don't expect much. They get 5 straight wins and they'll be in there. They'll be in the hunt for a playoff spot. No, they just got to win tonight and then win one game at a time and play the game like they enjoy it, not like it's a job or a nightmare.
That's the one thing that I've noticed here is there seems to be a lack of fun. So, they've got to try to bring that spirit back somehow.
Have some fun, enjoy the game. If Matthews is not up to being the star player for the Maple Leafs, the Leafs are going to have to figure out a way to support him. It's just that simple. I mean, it's not, it doesn't end with what Matthews can do or can't do. It ends with what the team can do. We can complain about the fact that he's not contributing, but the team can't sit idly by and just depend on him. He should be able to throw the team on his back, but the team shouldn't assume that they can jump on his back. They got to do their part too. They don't necessarily need a free ride. They can earn their keep too. So, and Wall has to be a little better. A big goalie like him, when they score high over his shoulder, he's playing small. He needs to play bigger. And by bigger, that means playing the angles and playing out of the net a little bit. Don't be caught so much in the net. So the basics of hockey are what the Leafs have to change and become. They have to become a team that converts on the basics of hockey. Get back to your roots, buddy. Enjoy the game. And you on Friday, enjoy your little adventure on Friday.
Yeah, we're heading out to Oshawa for the Oshawa Firewolves versus Toronto Rock game.
Their home opener.
Their home opener for their inaugural game. So
it'll be wild. Peterborough is a hotbed of lacrosse. Oshawa not so bad, but Peterborough is one of the biggest in Canada. So enjoy it. The environment will be with people who really understand the game of, and specifically box lacrosse. Enjoy it, buddy. I know I know you will. There's nothing else you can do but enjoy lacrosse. Everybody, thanks for watching. We'll see you again on Monday. Have a great weekend and enjoy the game tonight.